Hey, what's up YouTube? 2 years ago, we started building a city. And it all began with this little build right here, which quickly turned into this. Last year, I showed you all of the builds that we added into the city. And this year, I'd like to do the same. I have catalogued and arranged every single build that has been added into the city this past year, in the order that I built it in. Just so you know, every single one of these builds has its very own step-by-step block for block tutorial. Simply check down below for the city builds playlist and that will keep you busy for a very long time. Without any further ado, let me show you what we have been working on these past 2 years. The first build that we added to the city in 2024 was Popeyes, which is an American-based fast food restaurant. By the way guys, if a build has an interior, I will quickly show it you. For instance, here we have a customer seating area, and behind me we have the kitchen. We are going to go through the interiors rather quickly though, so if you would like a closer look at any of these builds, please just search the original video. Next, we have Acme lamps from the cartoon Pinky and the Brain. Who doesn't love a classic? That build does not have an interior. Next, we have a Costa Coffee with a drive-thru, an outdoor seating area. We have customer seating inside. We have the actual kitchen area, and most importantly, a bathroom. Next, we have a small suburban house that has a front and back garden with a little patio. We also have an interior where we have a kitchen/dining area. We have access to a small garage, a living room, and upstairs we have a bedroom with a closet and a small bathroom. Next up, we have Ned Flanders' house from the show The Simpsons, including the fallout bunker at the back of the house, my personal favourite part of this entire build. Next, we have the Hill residence from the show King of the Hill. We have the front and back garden, the house itself, the alley behind the house, but we do not have an interior. Next up, we have this barbershop that I actually completely forgot that I had built. These next 4 builds are all from the show South Park. I do believe that this is Stan's house, this is Cartman's house, this is Kyle's house, and finally, this is Kenny's house. Neither of these have interiors. And my personal favourite is actually Kenny's, but that might just be because it's the only one that's different from the rest. Also, who doesn't love a fridge outside? How convenient. Next, we have a flower shop / mini garden centre. If we have a look inside, we have every single flower that exists, and around the back we have this really cool arrangement of so many plants. Now, last but by no means least, this might be one of my favourite builds of all time. We have the original Plants vs Zombies player house, including all of the actual tiles from the game, and we also have some plants diligently defending our domicile. That was too much alliteration. We even have the back garden as well. I really love this build. Oh, and a small change from last year, ladies and gentlemen. We have arranged each one of our builds into rows. So not only are the builds in the order that they got added into the city, each entire row represents a month. This first row, for instance, is January 2024. Back to the video. That was every single build added into the city in January 2024. Now let's move to February. Why does that sound so weird? The first build that got added into the city in February is our TV studio, that of course has the parking lot, and inside a reception, a news area, a weather area, a talk show area, We also have controls for each one of these sets. And if we head upstairs, we have an entire sitcom. So we have kind of like the driveway, living room, kitchen, bedroom, and this is kind of like a craft services area for the actors, and we of course have all of the controls in here as well. Next up, we have Bear's house from the show Bear in the Big Blue House. I actually managed to make some of the interior. It was kind of difficult to do, as are a lot of cartoon houses, but we did actually manage to capture some charm from the show. A lot of these don't make sense, however. Most cartoon builds and the like don't really match between the inside and the outside, but we did have some really cool key areas, including the back balcony here. Next up, we have our fish shop / aquarium that has a large central tank viewable from the outside. We have every single aquatic creature in here, or we're meant to. They have long since despawned. I might also not have ported this over correctly. This is meant to have a turtle pit as well, but we also have all of the corals, we have all of the aquatic plants, and once again we are meant to have all of the aquatic creatures. Next up, we have Little Caesars, which is an American-based pizza restaurant that has a large car park outside, a dining-in area, a kitchen, and of course a bathroom as well. Next up, we have Gru's house from the movie series Despicable Me. As you can see, we have the house itself and the entire outside of the house built. However, we have not built the interior, unfortunately. But I did actually take the time to build Gru's neighbor's house, which is repeatable. They all pretty much look like each other, so you can actually make Gru's entire neighborhood, including Gru's car as well, which you can actually get inside of. It's meant to have a door here, and there is meant to be a set of ladders that take you up into the actual driver's seat. Very much a fan of Gru's car. Next up, we have a Suburban House, which is red terracotta now, but I actually designed this to look good in any terracotta block, including concretes as well, so it's kind of like a repeatable house that you can use to make a neighborhood. We have the front and back garden, as you saw, including the garage, and on the inside we have a small living room, little space underneath the stairs, kitchen, dining room. We have access to the garage as well, and upstairs we have a few different rooms. So we have a bedroom here, we have a bathroom here, we have a larger bedroom, the master bedroom, and we have kind of like a kid's room in here too. Next up, we have Horrid Henry's house from the cartoon and movie Horrid Henry. Unfortunately, there isn't an interior with this one, but we did manage to capture a lot of the other detail. And finally, for the month of February, we have a zoo. So we have a picnic area, an ice cream stand. We have a bunch of animal exhibits, which unfortunately all of the animals have despawned. I rarely have to start name tagging things. But this side of the zoo is kind of more a petting zoo area, so we have things that you'd typically find on a farm, and all of these different enclosures represent that. And here we have an aviary, so this is where we would keep our birds. And this is the more exotic side of the zoo, so we would have polar bears here, we have like foxes or wolves in here, we have a little aquatic area as well, camels, pandas, and that leads us on to the next month. Here is everything that got added into the city in the month of March. First up, we have a furniture store, which has just a bunch of furniture in it, a load of different lamp designs and TVs and pianos, and just fun stuff to have in a house in general. A bunch of different furniture designs, chairs, tables, bedroom layouts, bathroom layouts, kitchen layouts, a bunch of pet stuff, and of course a bunch of games room stuff as well. This might be an odd thing to say, but this was actually one of my favourite builds of the year. This is a funeral home, including a hearse which is missing its roof. It has a little coffin in the back here. At the back of the funeral home we have like a small graveyard and like a memorial board, and if we actually head inside we have a few different rooms. So here we have like a service room for the actual funeral to be held, and all the way over here we have kind of like the wake area with a small bar and food. And all the way over on the opposite side of the funeral home, we have a small morgue area as well. Like I said, it's probably weird, but I really like that build. Next up, we have a rather large suburban house with a garage and a back garden, including some bikes, a tool shed. We have some fun stuff like a pool and a sand pit and a slide and a swing set. And if we have a look at the interior, we have a hallway and a kitchen slash dining room that just leads outside. All the way over on the opposite side of the build, we have just like a nice living room slash lounge. And if we head upstairs, we have a bunch of different rooms actually. So we have a bedroom here, including a bathroom and a closet. And I do believe that the house has a few of these. So here we have a kid's bedroom. And I do want to say that the bathroom is here. And then on the opposite side of the house, we just have a mirror. So we have like another kid's bedroom, and then we just have another small bedroom with an ensuite and a closet as well. Next up, we have the Loud House from the show The Loud House. So this is the house itself, but I did also make the vehicle as well, which I do want to call Vanzilla. And we do have the entire outside of the build made, or at least as best as I could. However, we do not have an interior. Next, we have a modern office building. I'll just show you the first floor. So we have a reception area here, and then we just have a bunch of desks and a kitchen area, and just like a bunch of cubicles. So every single floor is actually identical to this, just a bunch of computers, and there's also meant to be more things on the desks as well. So this is Optimus Prime in his truck form. I love hiding things like this in my city. I love little Easter eggs that kind of make you look twice and make you think like, hey, wait a second, isn't that? Yes, it is. Next up, we have the classic version of an American chain restaurant called Charles Jr. So we have an interior, a bunch of seating, and of course a kitchen. And oh, we do also have a drive-through as well, an order board that you can see over there that's completely empty. To date, this is one of the largest builds that I have ever made for my channel. This is the Has-Been Hotel from the TV show Has-Been Hotel. I have not made the interior because it would, I think, would be impossible, literally, but I have made as much of the exterior as I possibly could, and I think it turned out really, really well. This is literally one of the longest tutorials on my entire channel, which is kind of funny actually, because I do believe that it is second only to the Jade Palace from Kung Fu Panda. So we have kind of like the mountain top area that it sits on. We have the entrance gate. We have the two buildings that sit either side this arena. And we have the temple steps leading up to the temple slash palace itself, which is quite nicely decorated and ornate. And inside here we have the interior as well. This is the longest and possibly most frustrating build on the entire channel. This takes a very, very long time, but honestly kind of worth it. It's a really fun build to have in the city. As long as you have 3 hours to build it, of course. That is every single build that we added into the city in March 2024, which leads us onto April 2024. Let's take a look. First of all, for the month of April, we have the Ghostbusters headquarters from the movie Ghostbusters. And not only that, we also have the vehicle as well, which is called Ecto-1, We do not have an interior though. Next up, we have IHOP, which is an American-based, I do believe, breakfast restaurant. In here we have a bunch of seating, we have a till area, and in the back we have a kitchen, and we even have a little order window as well. Next, we have a dentist's office. Who doesn't love going to the dentist? I certainly do. In here, we have a reception, a waiting area, and I don't really know what to call these, like an exam room, I guess? This is where the dentist does all of their dentisting. Guys, I can't tell you how much I love these particular builds. These are so necessary for a city, but they're so boring as well, but I love them regardless. This is a multi-story car park. So this is a ticket machine as we come in, and a security booth. This is the ground level of the car park where we can exit if we want to, or we can go up to the next floor. And we have a bunch of these floors, and we just keep going around and around. I'm sure that you guys are familiar with how these car parks work. And we also have a stairs system at the back as well, which eventually takes us all the way up to the roof, and we have some roof parking too. But not only that, we can also get all the way down as well, where we would eventually exit all the way down here. It's actually a really annoying and complex build to put together. Or at least it was for me. Very satisfying though. Next up, we have an Asda supermarket with a giant car park. And we have a self-serve petrol station as well. We have a trolley return area. And on the inside, we have a bunch of things that one might expect to find in a supermarket. All sorts of produce. We have a bunch of shelves with spaces to actually put item frames and stuff on said shelves, a freezer area, a till area, self-serve, and not only that, in the back we actually have a small cafe as well. Next up, we have a taxi rank with a couple of taxis. So this is where you can wait for a taxi here in this little cover area. And we have a black cab here, so we can like sit in the back, and we have our nice comfy private space in the back. Or we have a yellow cab that we actually can't get in, but there's really nothing you can do about it with this scale. Looks pretty cool though still. Next up, we have what I would call the definitive version of Mickey Mouse's clubhouse, including the clubhouse itself and the surrounding grounds, and a bunch of really fun details, like the picnic table, the shaped bushes. We have the garage with the car inside. We have Pluto's doghouse and the balloon. And inside the clubhouse itself, we have also made the interior as best as we could make it. And we can even get up and down the slide as well. I really just can't resist a slide. Here we have a skate park with a bunch of different ramps and fun things to do, rails and bowls, and even a kind of little mini skateboard. I really couldn't make a better version than this. It's the best I could do. Here we have a bus station that I actually attached part of a taxi rank to as well. So here we have a bunch of seating so that we can wait for our buses, a ticket booth. This is meant to have a map on it to tell you where the buses are going. We of course have two different styles of buses, a double-decker bus here that you can actually climb up on top of, and a more city style, I want to use the word metro, although I don't really know what that means, style bus here. And we also have the actual station area too. So once again, this is meant to have a map. We have a bunch of different ticket machines, waiting area, and just a bunch of information that we would need, and another ticket booth as well. And I don't think that there is anything on the back. Nope, but pretty cool build. I really like this one. Essential for a city. Last build for the month of April, we have a leisure centre. So this is actually split into two different parts. The front of the leisure centre, as we walk in, has a little locker room area and a basketball court, a small gym area, but we actually have to go all the way around the side, as on the back of the leisure centre we have a swimming pool and some showers, sauna slash steam room and another locker area here as well, and just some seating for the pool. Those were all of the builds that we added into the city in the month of April, which means we are now going to move on to May. Our first build was actually this helicopter and helipad, just a handy, cool little detail that you can add to your city on top of any one of your larger buildings, including skyscrapers and hospitals, stuff like that. This is simply a clock tower, which I also included, for a lack of a better term, a small courtyard as well, so that we can kind of like sit and chill in front of the tower. We have a phone booth and a small ice cream stand as well. Okay, so this one's pretty huge. This is the Poppy Playtime Factory. I have not made the interior because I think that would be impossible to actually stuff it into this build, but yeah, that's also another huge tutorial for the channel. Not as long as Kung Fu Panda and the Has-Been Hotel, but pretty close. Here we have a small suburban style house with a nice back garden actually, and we have access to the garage at the back, small little patio area, a swing set, and inside of the house we have a nice condensed interior, kind of a living room slash kitchen dining area all lumped into one, and upstairs we have a little mini bedroom and a bathroom. This is a suspension bridge, which I actually really like. It is partially inspired by the Golden Gate Bridge. So this is a bit of a weird one. Here we have a mini high street. This is one tutorial comprised of 5 separate mini builds. So all the way over here we have a cafe with an outdoor seating area. This is where we would get our cakes and coffee and whatever. Upstairs we have another seating area. And next to it we have a mini clothes store. Seems like a bunch of stuff has despawned in here, but this is a small clothes store. Over here we have a small grocery store with a bunch of different produce. And next to this we have a mini bakery. And last but not least, we have just a terraced house. So this is actually kind of a repeat of the house that we saw previously, but kind of condensed even further without the garage and the garden. And we even have like an alley that goes all the way around the back and connects all of these together. I just thought that it was a really cool build to kind of like flesh out a city really quickly. Next up, we have Mr. Bean's house from the cartoon Mr. Bean, the animated series. We have his car out front. We have all of the front garden and the back garden, as well as I could recreate it. And we also have a lot of the interior as well. So downstairs we have his neighbour's house, as much as I could actually fit into the build itself, which is mainly just a living room and a kitchen. And upstairs we actually have Mr. Bean's apartment or flat, so we have kind of like an open plan living room slash bedroom slash dining area all chucked into one. And we have a small bathroom, and over here we have a kitchen as well. Now this is a mini version of the Poppy Playtime Factory. I thought that the larger version was a bit too big for some people to follow the tutorial for, so I made a smaller version, which still takes an incredible amount of time to make, but it is a lot more condensed. Has all of the charm, but with a lot less build time. Last build for the month of May. Here we have the boarding house from the cartoon Hey Arthur. Unfortunately, we don't have the interior made, but I do think that we did a really good job with the outside. It's a really interesting build to have in a city. Those are all of the builds that we added into the city in the month of May, which means that we can now move on to June. The first build that we added into the city in the month of June is a military base. This is a pretty complicated, multifaceted build. Up at the front here, we have a security office. And then as we move into the base, we have a watchtower. And we have a bunch of barracks, which are essentially just bedrooms slash bathrooms. You can see that we have a bunch of vehicles littered about as well. So we have a tank, transport truck. We have a jet over there with a runway. We have an air traffic control tower. We have a transport helicopter. We have a jeep. We have some hangars as well. So we have kind of like an old-fashioned plane back here. And we also have a helicopter as well. Here we have a mini bakery. So this is inspired by the previous bakery on the high street that I showed you, but just a little bit bigger and kind of like a standalone build. This is just a good old-fashioned modern house. It doesn't really have much of a back garden, but you can see that we have a driveway which leads all the way down into a central garage. And on the inside we have a living room and access to said garage and a dining room kitchen. And we can also get upstairs as well, so up through this hallway. Here we have a bedroom and we have a closet. And I do believe all the way over here on this right side we have a bathroom. Next, I really liked the grocery store that I built for the high street, so I basically just remade it ever so slightly different and turned it into its own standalone tutorial. It's missing a bunch of item frames and a shopkeeper and what have you. It usually looks a lot less bare than this. This is Johnny Bravo's house from the cartoon Johnny Bravo. We don't have the interior, but I do love a good classic cartoon build. Speaking of cartoons, this is Planet Express from the cartoon Futurama. So this is the Planet Express building itself, which is really cool. And I even made the Planet Express spaceship as well, which we can actually get inside of. Can we get up through here? Yes, we can. So I don't know why the interior isn't made on this version, but I did make a small interior for the actual tutorial version. So this is quite a complicated build. This is a motorway slash highway. So we have entrances slash exits on and off the highway. We have a bridge here connecting both sides together. We have one side of the highway here, another side here. We have a division between the two. We have a gantry which shows entrances slash exits on and off the highway and speed limits. And yeah, we have the exact same thing all the way over on the opposite side. Very, very fun build to have and necessary for a city. And this is Steve flying a kite. Why is Steve flying a kite? Oddly enough, this is one of my favorites. So this is basically just a roadworks build. So this is just a bunch of workmen that have sectioned off an area of the road and they are digging into the ground and they're repairing it. And there's a bunch of different things. So this is like a workman. We have some signs, a traffic light here, some barriers. We have an excavator to tear up the road. And this is like a leaky pipe in the ground. It's kind of just one of those immersive builds. Lastly, for the month of June, we have a classic style Burger King with a drive-through, some parking on the outside, just an incredibly charming colour scheme and design to the building, and on the inside everything that you might expect to see in a fast food restaurant. And those are all of the builds that we added into the city in the month of June, which leads us into July. The first build that we have for the month of July is a roundabout. So this is a traffic controlled roundabout with 4 entrances slash exits. Next we have a Jack-in-the-Box with a drive-through and some parking out front. On the inside we have some seating and we have the kitchen in the back. This build is the Drunken Clam from the cartoon Family Guy. This is the bar that Peter and his friends typically frequent, with the booths here, the bar here, we have a jukebox, and we have a bathroom. This fun build is the headquarters from the movie Inside Out and Inside Out 2. And if we climb all the way up to the very top of the build, we have also made as much of the interior as we could possibly get in here as well. This is a tow truck towing a car. I don't think that we need any more explanation than that. This is a modern subway. On the inside, we have a place to order and a kitchen to make our sandwiches, and over here some customer seating. I really wanted a lighthouse in my city, and thus I made one. So here we have an island and a dock, a lighthouse which you can actually climb all the way up inside of, and you can orbit the top of it. And I also made a little lighthouse keeper's house as well, which has the bare necessities for somebody that is watching the waves. Here we have a Chili's restaurant, and on the inside we have a small bar and a kitchen and some customer seating. Here we have a similar build from earlier. This is a tunnel, but with the fun difference of the fact that this one goes underwater. This is an outdoor ice hockey arena. Very fun build. I absolutely love this one. So this is a train station with 2 platforms, and we have an area to actually like buy our tickets, whether it's from a person or from a machine. We can sit and wait on our train. But my favorite part about this is that we can actually go underneath the tracks onto the opposite platform via this tunnel, and I just really love it. I love this for the city. And of course, our train station would not be complete without a train, so this is actually a sleeper train. So we have the train itself and a bunch of carriages, and if we go inside, each one of these has a purpose. So the first set of carriages are just little rooms, as you can see here, with a bathroom on the end. And if we hop on to the next one, you can see that we have kind of like a dining cart. And lastly, we have kind of like an entertainment cart as well. So I'm saying car, but regardless, we have a bar and a piano and just some seating. Just a really cool build. Now, last but by certainly no means least, we have a mini version of the Titanic, which is another one of my favorites. And we can actually climb up onto the boat, and in here we have a place. Guys, what do you call this? This is where we control the ship, the drivatorium. Anyway, we also have a bunch of cabins as well, where all of the passengers can chill. And those are all of the builds that we added into the city in July 2024, which of course leads us into August. First up for August, we have an electricity pylon. Just a necessary and kind of like fun build to have in the city, honestly. I have a lot of fun making these utilitarian builds that you wouldn't typically think of as needing. Which, funnily enough, leads us on to something that nobody really needs: a blimp. I don't think that I've ever actually seen one of these in real life, but we do also have the interior for the blimp as well, which, I mean, there's really not too much going on in here. Here we have the Pink Palace apartments from the movie Coraline. Unfortunately, we don't have the interior for this build, but we do have a very detailed outside of the build. I really like this build. I think I managed to capture pretty much everything, even including this little basement as well, which is very creepy. Here we have a good old modern house with a front garden and a pool, a chill area underneath this, I suppose, canopy. We don't really have much of a back garden, but we do have this balcony at the back. And on the inside of the build, we have a living room / dining room, a kitchen. I do believe that we can get into the garage as well. And if we head upstairs, we have a bedroom and a bathroom. And who doesn't love the bathroom on the front of the house, looking directly at the neighbours whilst you, well, go number 2. So this next one is what I would call a modern suburban house. It's kind of like a hybrid between a modern house and a suburban house, hence the modern suburban name. Outside we have a bunch of decking with a hot tub and kind of like a patio set. And on the inside we have this hallway here and a kitchen, dining / living room. And on this opposite side, a bedroom. There's meant to be a TV here and a bathroom here. and a closet here. I just find it to be a very cool style of house. This actually started a new area of my city with this build. And this is a windmill. These things always remind me of the Teletubbies. Does anybody else get that? This is one of my favorite hotels that I've ever made. So out here we have a bunch of parking, a fountain. We have a drop-off point for like taxis and stuff outside of the hotel. But as we walk in, I just love the layout in here. So this is the reception area and a place to chill all the way here. This is a bar. And then I love this view too from the reception. I don't know, I just really like it, so we can get all the way up to the top of the hotel. Every floor is identical from this point onwards. So each room, we just have some beds. There would be a TV here as well. And we just have a bathroom. As you can see, I was really into blimps this month. This is the Nickelodeon blimp. This is a telephone pole. This is a fun one. This is a public outdoor swimming pool. So there's a lot of parts to this. We have a jacuzzi area. We have a place to chill on our towels and absorb those rays. We have some changing rooms here. Some lounges here. We have some lilos and some floaties. We, of course, have some diving boards, and I can't help myself. We have some outdoor showers here so that we can rinse off. We have... I don't know why I have this, to be quite honest, but this is just kind of like a bench swing. And we have our large water slide here, which, again, I just can't help myself. And this is why we have the showers. There's sand in the pool. Another fun one, we have a public park. So on the public park, we have swings, a roundabout, seesaw, sandpit, tire swing. We have kind of like a small climbing frame, which has a couple of different ways to get all the way up to here, with a small slide, and once again, you guys know I can't help it. And a larger climbing frame, so we have some monkey bars here, which leads us all the way up onto this platform, all the way up here, and there's multiple ways up and down all of this, and once again, I'll never say no to a water slide. I don't care how many there are. So this is another modern suburban style house, admittedly a bit of a weirder looking one. So this is a driveway / garage area. We come around here to the side of the house, so we can either go up that balcony there and enter into the second floor, or this is the first floor and we have like a kitchen, living room area, and we have a little bathroom underneath the stairs. There should be a TV on that wall. And if we come upstairs, we have just a nice big bedroom and a bathroom. And here is the balcony, which we can just kind of like come straight up to if we want to. And the last build that we have for August is a radio tower. Those are all of the builds that were added into the city in the month of August. Now, this row is a little bit special. All of these builds were added into the city in both September and October. We have ourselves a double feature. First up, we have the Plantar family farm from the cartoon Amphibia, and not only do we have all of this fun stuff outside, but we have also made some of the interior as well, or at least as much of it as I could possibly fit in this very small space, to be quite honest. This is a fun one. Here we have a nightclub. And if we head inside, we have a dance floor, which is meant to have lights underneath it, a bar, we have a DJ booth, some seating over on the right and some seating there. It's a very sort of cool vibe when all of the lights are dim. It's kind of in the name, it's a nightclub, not a daylight club. Here we have a Tesco supermarket with some parking, a trolley area. Inside, we have a small cafe, we have a produce section, clothes section, fridge / freezers, some generic bookshelves to represent aisles, a self-checkout and a regular checkout. And here we have the house from the movie Beetlejuice, and I guess Beetlejuice 2 as well. I haven't seen it, but I imagine that the house hasn't changed very much. We do not have the interior for this one, however. This is an outdoor basketball court with some parking, the court itself, and some seating. This is another one of my favourite builds. Here we have an outdoor / drive-in cinema. So we pull up in our cars, we tune our radio, or we put this little speaker box in our car, and we sit and watch the movie that is being projected onto that giant screen over there. And we even have a little area here to get some confectionaries. I really love this build. It's a very comfy build. This is a small intersection or a crossroads featuring traffic lights and two sides of a street. Just a handy thing to be able to build for a city. It's part of my road / city structure series where I show you how to build all sorts of things just like this. Another one of my favorites, this is my art gallery, and I'm just noticing that none of the paintings have spawned in. In here, believe it or not, this isn't some sort of weird modern art gallery where you've got to imagine the paintings. Every single Minecraft painting is supposed to be on these walls spread throughout the gallery. I really should have fixed all of these things before recording this video, but we're too far in now. This is what I will call the definitive version of Peppa Pig's house. So here we have the pig family car. Inside we have the living room, kitchen, and upstairs we managed to make 2 rooms. We have the bathroom here, and we have Peppa's room at the end of the hall, and then we just ran out of space. Here we have a good old-fashioned water tower, which actually works. If you store water in here, you can turn it on and off. I do believe that that was our only... Oh no, we've still got some more water in there. That's perfect. And we can even climb all the way up to the top of the tower as well, which is possibly the most fun part. This is an outdoor music festival. So we are actually missing a bunch of villagers all spread around everywhere, but this is where we would enter the festival. We'd get our tickets checked and all of that, make sure that we haven't got anything on us that we shouldn't, and we have some tents set up at the back here if we were staying at the festival for more than one day. We have a bunch of food trucks over here on this side, and we have some toilets and sinks on this side. This is where we would watch the concert. And this is a DJ booth, and this is of course the actual stage with a bunch of different instruments on it and some pyrotechnics. There might even be some fireworks in here. There is, that's perfect. So just a very fun build all around, just a cool thing to have in the city somewhere. This is Gusteau's restaurant from the movie Ratatouille. And we have actually managed to make some of the inside as well. So this is the dining area. And all the way over here in the back is the kitchen. And out the back we actually have Remy's moped as well. So just kind of a cool build all around. Next we have a modern bar. I really like this one because it's multifaceted. So at the base level we have kind of your good old standard bar with a bar, some seating. In the back we have some toilets here, but if we move up to the next level, we have kind of a games room. So we have some pool tables, we have some arcade machines, another little mini bar, and if we head all the way up to the very top here, we actually have kind of a nightclub. It's basically just like a dance room. Just really cool. Here we have a modern apartment building. So out front we have some parking. And if we head inside to the sort of lobby area, we have some lifts and we have some stairs. And on every level, we have an apartment. So in every apartment, we have a kitchen, living room. There's meant to be a TV here, dining room, and we have a bathroom. And we also have a bedroom as well. So this build right here is part of my road building series. At its core, I show you how to make this small bridge here, but more importantly, I show you how to make a road underneath the bridge, on the bridge, and how to join those two together rather naturally. Just another handy thing to know for the city. This is my farm, another one of my favourite builds. So we have a bunch of different things going on here. This is a wheat field which, as you can see, is in the process of being harvested by our combine harvester and our tractor trailer combination. Over here is a large stable for our larger animals. This is a chicken coop for the chickens. Over here is where we keep our pigs. This is a hay barn. And this is a grain silo. The final build for our September-October combo month is our haunted house, which actually has quite a lot going on. So we have a basement dungeon, which has a lot of fun things in here. And if we move around, we have some graves. That's nice. Some pumpkins. A slime pit, who doesn't need one of those. Some braziers. Inside we have a dilapidated / haunted kitchen / dining room. There's meant to be a zombie underneath here as well. Upstairs we have... these are meant to like trigger zombies and like different things in these closets, like whenever you hit the pressure plates, but kind of like a creepy sort of bedroom area. And all the way up in the attic, we have kind of like a ritual circle. It's kind of meant to be kind of like an abandoned witch's house. Just creepy vibes. Those were all of the builds added into the city in both September and October, which leads us into November. The first build that we added into our city in November is a dog park, which is honestly possibly more fun than the real park. We have a bunch of doggy obstacles that we can tackle with our canine friend, some benches, and some little dog houses at the back here. Next up, we have a pretty cool one. This is a science lab, or science laboratory. For some reason, science laboratory just sounds so weird, like...
Yeah, science laboratory.
Anyway, on the ground level, we have a bunch of different stations, equipment, and computers, and things that we may use to conduct science. Over here, we have an organic area with a warning on this suspicious-looking plant, perhaps from another world. And all the way up on the second floor, we have some more things as well. So we have another station here. This is meant to have a zombie in it. He's escaped. Let me know if you see him. Over here, we have some tubes with some other suspicious looking plant life in them. And in this room, we are meant to have a bunch of jarred heads, but they have also went missing. That can't be good. So this is a pretty interesting one. This is a rather large modern mansion made entirely with the help of ChatGPT. So I gave ChatGPT some prompts to help me make a modern house, and this was the result of it. And we actually have a pretty fun video where we catalogue the whole experience. We also made the entire inside with ChatGPT as well, hence why it's a little bit weird and doesn't make too much sense. I think that probably describes ChatGPT to a T. But it turns out that you guys really wanted a tutorial for this build, so I did one. And I mean, it's probably not the best laid out house in the entire world, but it does look cool. Moving on, we have a suburban family home made using TSMC rather than ChatGPT. So it is ever so slightly, just slightly better laid out. It makes only a bit more sense. The inside is nice and furnished. This is a living room. There's meant to be a TV there as usual. We have a kitchen dining area, and we have kind of like a lounge / living room here. Here we have a dining room table in this conservatory, and we also have access to the garage. And if we head upstairs, we have 3 different rooms. We have a bathroom. We have a kid's bedroom with bunk beds and a closet and access to this little balcony. And we also have a master bedroom. Next up, we have a wind farm. The concept is that instead of just one windmill like over there, we have a fleet of windmills, all drawing in the power of wind and converting it into precious electricity somehow using these two things here and also this little mini power station that is missing all of the paintings. There's also a van. Next up, we have a Wingstop, which I was surprised to learn that we actually have in the UK as well. I was not aware until I made this video. We have a customer seating area and a kitchen. And last up, for the month of November, we have an outdoor football pitch, which of course has the playing field itself, benches for the teams, scoreboard, and we also have some stands as well. I really like this build. Those were all of the builds that we added into the city in the month of November, which leads us to our final month, December. The first build that we have for December is the Watterson's house from the show The Amazing World of Gumball. As you can see, I managed to capture pretty much the entire outside of the house, and of course including the house itself, but quite rarely I managed to do a pretty good job on the inside. The interior is as close to complete as you can get with a cartoon house. So this is the living room, dining room, we have the kitchen here, there's meant to be, I believe, a bedroom here, but you would literally just walk outside if you added it. And upstairs we have enough room for the bathroom and Gumball's room. This leads us on to our rather large suburban house. This borders on the line of modern suburban house, but I think it's just a bit more suburban. As you can see, we have the front and back garden. We have a very nice and balanced symmetrical exterior to the house. And the inside is rather nicely furnished as well. So we have this hallway, a living room, we have kind of like a bar area, a home office. Across the house, we have a dining room kitchen, a larder. I still don't know what a larder is, but it sounds cool. Here we have a utility room, and if we head upstairs, we have a landing area, and on this side of the house we have two bedrooms. We have a blue bedroom with an ensuite that matches, and at the front of the house we have a pink bedroom with an ensuite that matches. It's slightly bigger because of this window. It has a bath as well. And if we go onto the opposite side of the house, we have a gaming room that is also attached to the master bedroom that has all sorts of fun things in this. And once again, there is, I can't get in it, but an ensuite bathroom. Next up, we have our cinema. This might be my most favourite design for a cinema that I have made to date. And on the inside, we have a place to get our tickets. We have a place to get our snacks. And we have our rather large cinema screen and some seating as well, and the projector. Here we have another suburban house, and the reason that I wanted to make this is because I wanted to test out the new pale blocks. And I really like the white and grey palette for houses, so it kind of just worked nicely. So we have something a little bit different. We have our garage and our driveway, and we have elevated the house, but you can see that there's also a basement as well. So if we head inside of the house, we have our hallway, and if we go underneath the stairs, we can actually get into our basement, which is meant to have a floor and a TV and all sorts of utilities. And if we head upstairs, we have a living room slash lounge chill area. At the back of the house, we have a dining room kitchen, and we do also have access to the garage as well out of the back patio. But we do have a second floor, of course, and all the way up here we have a master bedroom. We have a smaller bedroom, that's a closet, and we have a bathroom. And I did even contemplate actually having an attic as well, but there really wasn't too much room unless I added ladders, but I thought that would be a bit irritating. Next up, we have a music studio, another very cool build in my opinion. So inside the music studio, we kind of have like a little chill waiting room. We have a place for the band to actually play together and record music. But we also have like a recording booth here and a place for kind of like just vocals to be recorded as well. So we have the technical side of the booth, and this is where you would actually perform. So pretty cool. And the final build that was added into the city in the year 2024 is a bit of a weird one. We have the Robinson's house from the cartoon, The Amazing World of Gumball. I didn't really plan on making any more Gumball builds, but the reception for the Waterson's house was incredibly positive, and I had a bunch of requests to make this. So I tried my best at making the interior as well. We have the living room. We have as much of the kitchen as I could find reference pictures for. This is pretty much all of the downstairs that I could find. Upstairs, you have a very weird hallway layout with a seat for some reason at the top of the stairs. And you have the Robinsons' bedroom. And we have the bathroom as well. There's actually a lot of wasted space in this house because I just couldn't find any more references for any other part of the house. It's kind of a shame. It's kind of weird actually. I usually have the exact opposite problem. I usually can't fit an interior in a house. Never mind to have so much interior that I just have to waste space. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is every single build that we have added into our city in the year 2024. For those of you curious, that was a grand total of 138 builds added into the city in the year 2024. If you would like to download this world and thus have access to every single one of the builds so that you can make your very own city in the way that you would like it, you can do this by becoming a channel member, which will gain you access to some loyalty badges, some fun emojis, and most importantly, a monthly download of the current version of this world. And now that the year has came to an end, ladies and gentlemen, that means that we must put a wall around the 2024 part of this world. But it's not over. Make way for 2025. See you guys in the new year.